OC PD coach. Please welcome Shannon Williams.
Thank you. Good morning, fellow Toastmasters. Let's have some fun today.
Yes.
We're talking about holiday traditions, and many of you might know I have a 3-year-old son. We have everyday traditions, so we just do random things sometimes. Well, I never watched Star Wars as a kid. I actually just watched Star Wars for the first time 2 weeks ago while I was down sick with the flu. As a matter of fact, I watched that with my son because we were all sick. And that was our little tradition, was watching a new hexology together. I found out today that was 2 sets of trilogies, because that's what I did, the first 6 movies of Star Wars. How many of you have heard the statement, "I am your father"? Show of hands. Okay, great. That's oftentimes misquoted as Luke, "I am your father." So when I watched the movie, I was actually shocked to hear that Luke was not in that sentence. I do, however, want to talk about that father today. We are going to talk about the love story of one Anakin Skywalker. Because honestly, I think his story was one of the more tragic stories of love, all the way around. Lack of love, desire for love, and ultimately, love is what caused his downfall. So let's do that real quick. You all know I always love to take turns for my son's day when I do my speeches. Christmas is coming up, and I went crazy for him this Christmas and grabbed this Darth Vader toy. So he has no idea he even has this yet. I get to break it in. But when you see Darth Vader, you probably see anger, a villain. Some of you might see fear, terror. A lot of times I saw Darth Vader and I heard the song in my head, boom, 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 boom. It wasn't until 2 weeks ago that I got to learn about Anakin Skywalker, the individual under this mask, the young man behind the breath, behind the respirator that is attached to this mask. And I got to understand how he got into this suit. So let's take a step back. 9-year-old Anakin Skywalker, young man, born in a poor planet, into slavery, with no one but his mother. As a matter of fact, his birth was very reminiscent of one of Jesus, where they don't even have a father to track him. There was no father, he was just conceived someday. It's crazy. It was the Force. But Anakin Skywalker was born into a pretty tragic situation, I would say. But he was very, very intelligent. He built droids. He was able to race these power races against some of the most dangerous aliens across the universe. And he was somebody who had hope. He hoped to leave his planet one day, come back, and help free all of the other slaves. One day, he was introduced to hope. This hope was introduced to him by 2 Jedi knights. One of them was an elder. You could say he could have been a father figure for young Anakin, who never had a father in his life. He saw something special in Anakin from day one. And he said, hey, this person might be the chosen one. As a 9-year-old, that's crazy to hear. Like, you might be the chosen one to save the universe, to balance the world. I don't know if I could have handled that pressure at 9 years old. But he was told he might be the chosen one. In addition to this, there was another Jedi Knight, Obi-Wan Kenobi, who was younger and more like a big brother figure for young Anakin. So at 9 years old, his freedom is bargained. He's actually able to become free from slavery. The one caveat, though, is he has to leave his mother. The one person in his life that has shown him nothing but love, that he is loved. Can you imagine being 9 years old, being told your destiny is much greater, but you have to leave your mother in this horrible circumstance? I couldn't. And it was at that moment that I actually felt myself have sympathy for this violent individual. I had no idea I would ever get to that point until I started watching that 4th movie. And I was sitting On the couch, I'm like, babe, my wife's not watching. She doesn't care. I'm like, baby, this is crazy. This is insane. Look at this story they're telling. I'm gonna tell you how it gets even more interesting. Along with those two individuals, there's a beautiful young lady. She is the queen. Her name is Padme. And she develops a really, really close relationship with young 9-year-old Anakin Skywalker, which is kind of weird. It's kind of weird because I think she was a little older, but we'll skip it for the purposes of the movie. But she develops a really, really close relationship, and it's something that I really saw a lot of parallels with the relationship with his mother. He had someone who was sweet, someone who was loving, someone who listened to him, someone who believed in him. And to me, I honestly think that this was the beginning of young Anakin's downfall and eventual rise. So let's get out of there. He's free now. We fast forward 10 years, and that individual that I told you would have been the father figure for him, he's not there. As a matter of fact, and I'm spoiling the movie, y'all, so I should have probably prefaced that, but I'm spoiling the movies. As a matter of fact, he died. Almost instantly after he got Anakin, his father figure was killed. So now he's being raised by that big brother. I have siblings. I have older siblings. And I used to get wedges when I was a kid from my older sister, so it was the best relationship. Some of you might know the relationship between, yeah, it's crazy. The relationship between your siblings, your older siblings, is nowhere near the same as it would be for a parent or a father figure. It's not that same, hey, I'm gonna teach you everything I know because I want you to be greater than me. A lot of times it's more competitive. And I saw 10 years later, Anakin have competition with that brother figure, Obi-Wan Kenobi, who is now his mentor. You then see Anakin begin to get a little more arrogant because he knows he's the chosen one. He left his family. It's just him, and he's been promised you're going to deliver us all. And he knows as much. He knows he's special. He also runs back into sweet Padme. He runs into her 10 years later, still as beautiful as can be, and they actually fall in love. He told her something crazy. He said, for the past 10 years, I've been dreaming about you. That was wild. That was wild to me. I never would have said it, but hey, he knew what he was doing, and it worked. She fell in love with him. They actually had a forbidden love. Something similar to Romeo and Juliet almost. No one could know, but it was something so passionate that nobody could turn their eyes away from it. Padme actually gets pregnant. She tells Anakin, I'm pregnant. Without having a father and without having that true father figure, that's gotta be really scary. It's gotta be a lot of pressure knowing you're gonna bring somebody into this world. Also, you still haven't fulfilled your destiny. You're not even a Jedi master yet. You haven't even reached the peak of your group, yet you're being told you're bringing somebody else into the world. I'm gonna talk a little bit about his mother real quick. Now, I told you he left his mother at 9 years old. Well, 10 years later, Anakin starts having these visions of his mother distressed, getting ready to die. And it's really vivid, almost as if he could reach out and touch her. He goes back to his original home planet, searching for his mother, finds out she's been sold, goes there and finds out his mother has been killed. His vision came to life. This is the first time Anakin really tasted the dark side, because the next thing he did was he went and slaughtered all of the individuals who were responsible for his mother's death, as well as their wives and their kids. And this wasn't something that he was reprimanded for. No, he actually told Padme the truth. She showed him nothing but love. And this is what made him think it was acceptable to behave like that. So now he finds out his wife is going to have children. He starts having similar visions of his wife dying. And he knows that he cannot let his wife suffer the same exact fate. So he is manipulated by the grand evil, the emperor. He's the senator at the time, but he's manipulated into thinking that he can control life and death if he chooses the dark side. I don't know about you all, but if I was in that situation, the dark side might not seem like such a bad idea. Thank you. Gotta shake your hand. Thank you.
Awesome.